Hello and welcome back to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5e live stream. When last we left off, the party had just received some very unfortunate news from Yukikaze, their resident follower Bahamut, as he informed the party that by the various means by which he gets information from his god, he had been informed that the plot to raise the chromatic dragons so that they could summon their fell mistress, their mother Tiamat, was far-reaching and deep, and happened to include efforts by none other than Raiken's older brother, Tatsuya. Of course, this being rather difficult to believe, the party set about trying to verify it, along with some other information, including the location of Silver Fang, the sword of Bahamut, which they still need to retrieve from its hidden place among the drow. But all of the powerful beings they used their divination spells to contact seemed to corroborate that Tatsuya had been involved in at least the raising of the Black Dragon, and possibly was involving himself in the raising of the White Dragon. Now, the party knows they must move quickly to secure the Silver Fang, yet they are waiting on one more thing: the arrival of Cyrus' father, who is supposedly a gold dragon. So at the very end, Laramendis, you had just finished speaking with the other planar entity and passed on its information to the party. You wanted to recap those answers? That's probably a good place to start.
Sure. So, we had asked, let me just scroll to find what the actual questions were. If the Silver Fang was still in the city we expected it to be in currently, which it is, if it would be taken out of that city by by someone other than us or not under our orders, which is unclear. So there's a lot of uncertainty around that particular point. Roen is near-ish to the city, and we seem to feel relatively confident that meant that he would likely be someone that we encounter when we are trying to retrieve the item. And that was all with Commune. And then with Contact Other Plane, we confirmed that Tatsuya was the one who spoke with Shasharan, that it is Widemir that has not yet been raised, that Tatsuya does not currently possess the gem to unseal Widemir. He might know where it is, which the perhaps on that makes me think that he believes he thinks he knows where it might be, but that doesn't mean that he knows exactly where it is. And he is definitely heading towards the gem. Those are the questions and answers.
Q&A with mystical follower of Ion.
And then with something.
Someone, somewhere. Somewhen.
Someone. I'll do the spell enough times and I'll manage to talk to myself. in the future.
I wondered when this call would come.
I remember this call. I should have known when it would come.
Here's the skinny. Has Raiken or Yukikaze got anything they want to say at this point? Or do?
I mean, Raiken, at the end of last session, Raiken was wanting Leah to scry on Tatsuya.
Yes, that's true. Do you want me to do it now? I mean, I can.
Is there a better time to do it?
I shrug and start looking for my mirror.
Do you need any other components, or is it just the mirror?
I believe it's just the mirror. Well, I mean, I also find that's a good point actually. I also find a piece of him in my collection.
Just making sure there weren't any other material components besides the mirror and the of them.
Yeah, no, it's the only component is mirror, but I also use warp because I have it.
Okay, so what do I roll?
Let's see. I assumed Tatsuya falls on the familiar, meaning I know him well.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, it's -5 from that, and
I mean, you spent several hours with him.
yeah. And then the bottom part is so it's -10, -15 total.
And it's
It's a save wisdom 20. It says. So they have so you roll wisdom. And they have a negative of 15.
alright, well that means he rolls a whopping 0.
I mean, you minimize to 1. I think.
No, I don't think you do.
I don't know, actually. That's under saves.
Mm-hmm. You said that the DC was 20?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't make it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've maxed out connections, so it's pretty hard when it has a -15 on it. It's like, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that just means that I see him.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see in here a particular creature you choose. There's the same plane of existence as you. That is an important part. If he's not in the same plane of existence, it just doesn't work.
Okay.
The dog is make a wisdom saving throw. The target isn't affected. On a fail save, the spell creates an invisible sensor within 10 feet of the target. You can see and hear to the sensor as if you were there. The sensor moves with the target remaining within 10 feet of it for the duration. A creature that can see invisible objects sees the sensor as a luminous orb about the size of a fist. And it lasts for 10 minutes, as long as I'm concentrated.
Mm-hmm. So you begin incanting over your mirror. You assume you'll move to the bed to do this more comfortably.
It also takes 10 minutes to cast it.
Mm-hmm. You see the veil of magic and divination beyond the surface of the mirror, and slowly, as you continue to perform the spell, it begins to part and to thin, and you get an image that you can view on the mirror's surface of Tatsuya. He appears to be standing at the prow of a ship that is moving across the water. It appears to be dark, as in perhaps pre-dawn, and he is looking ahead. And as you refine the image, and the veil of arcane magic continues to thin, you can see that he looks tired, ragged, and that he is standing here with a look of determination that must be the only thing keeping him standing.
Could I maybe roll an Arcana or something to see if it looks like he's under some form of enchantment? Considering I have used a lot of enchantments myself on people.
You could try it. Roll Arcana.
Oh, yikes. I'm pretty much gonna say that's a no immediately, but it's a 10.
He looks tired, weary,
Yeah.
stressed, but he doesn't have any sort of glazed look. He doesn't look as though he is not in control of his actions. He does not look thoughtless. In fact, he looks quite the opposite, alert and pensive, despite his tired and ragged form. You can still see, clinging to patches of the cloth over his armor, a bit of sand, and I don't know how far around him you can see, but we'll say that you can see that they are traveling close-ish to the shore, and you can see sandy beaches in the dim light beyond him.
Yeah, it says that I can see as clear as if I'm there, so I guess I would see as far as I would if I was standing next to him.
Okay. Roll history.
Okay. My history is a whopping +1, so that's 13.
13. Well, you've never seen this place, but you've looked at the group's map many times, and so you believe that he is on a boat that is traveling south, and the beaches that you're seeing passing by are to the west, to the left of the boat, to the east, excuse me, to the left of the boat as it travels south. But without the sun, it is difficult to be certain.
But I don't see the desert.
No, you do. Beyond these large beaches, do not see
Okay.
green. You see mountains rising in the
Okay.
distance, but it appears that the beaches just stretch forever inland.
Okay. It could be the border of that desert country I cannot remember the name of.
Well, there's Toralos, and then there's
Yeah, Toralos is the one I was thinking of because that's where I were. There's another one named Seven something or something.
it's the Five Queens. I was just trying to
Five
remember
Queens,
the word.
Is it Empire?
I think so. Empire of the Four Queens?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Four
four.
Queens.
Four.
Four Queens.
It was 4, yeah. Just remember it was related to a number. But Leah wouldn't be able to think of that. She would think of Tuca. Which is Toralas, right? Okay. Considering he's still got sand on him, Leah will assume that he hasn't been on this boat for long, or that he hasn't been able to clean himself or sleep. Like he's gone straight from the desert onto the boat.
You may assume anything you would like to assume. I can only tell you what you see.
Nothing interesting happens during those 10 minutes. He just look.
During the 10 minutes, another dragonborn wearing the colors of Arcosia does come to him from what appears to be the crew quarters, rubbing his eyes and yawning large. He comes up to Tatsuya and says, "You should get some sleep, Commander. You have a long way to go yet." Tatsuya acknowledges him, and after a few moments' silence, finally says, "I know. I should. But I just don't feel sleep right now. I'll try again later. Thank you, Captain, for your concern. I'll stand watch here, though." The other Dragonborn nods, salutes, and heads back toward the crew quarters. Other than that and a few birds crying, that's all there is.
Do I recognize the other Dragonborn from when I, met the other people in this
Yeah.
clan? Yeah.
Yeah, he was basically second in command to Tatsuya.
Right, yeah. Okay. I'm also spell ends and gonna just lay the mirror next to me and sigh, scratch my eyebrows.
So,
Well, he's on a boat traveling, I believe, south from Toralas. His other Dragonborn are with him. He hasn't slept and looks very determined. Raiken, it doesn't look like he's under any form of spell.
something still fishy. I just can't put my finger on it.
I mean, he was on a boat. Perhaps it was the fish.
No, they were clearly going
This is no
somewhere.
time for jokes.
Sorry, just trying to lighten the situation a little.
Well, we know he's on a boat at least, for now. Heading south, supposedly.
After you.
No, they looked like there were beaches on his left, and I assume that is east. Might be wrong, I'm not too great at cartography.
It would make the most sense for him to be on a boat in the Great Inner Sea if he's wanting to head to Sudaran, or if he's wanting to head north to Ebengard. Either way, he's likely in that stretch of water somewhere.
Well, until we can actually verify what is going on, I still remain skeptical that he's truly switched sides and betrayed us. But I will accept that he is trying to resurrect them.
Could he have been involved in raising Bala?
It's more than likely.
Where did you say he was at the time Bala risen? He was not in the Seed of Bahamut, right?
He had been sent out.
Question. Who told you he had been sent out? You? Like someone you know, or him?
Well, I hadn't seen him for a while, but the last time I saw him, he said he had been sent out. That's how he got word that Bala was attacked. He got heard through the grapevine. that Bala attacked the seat of Bahamut.
It's not information we can trust.
But you don't know where he was sent.
No.
Who told you he was sent out?
He did.
He himself told me, but I also hadn't seen him. Not everyone is privy to military tactics.
It still would make sense to tell where you're going.
It's also entirely possible that while he is involved in the arranging for this to happen, he is not actually one of the people performing the ritual. Given that he was at the Dragonborn camp to get Shasharan to stop the attack, and she can fly faster than he can move, he was probably not where she was raised, unsealed. So he could have had a hand in things in Arcosia without physically being there.
But didn't Bala come from the forest behind where he met you, Laramandas?
Yes. Or at
Then
least
it-
that's what seems to be the case. That would be the most likely thing.
Yeah, if he was not in the seat of Bahamut, it could be there in that forest.
He could have, or it could have been somebody else.
I'm just putting it out there.
There's no way to know.
I don't like the thought of it either, but we should be prepared for the worst.
My question is there something you're hoping to gain from this line of inquiry?
What?
Is there something you're hoping to gain from these questions? Knowing we don't know where he was, and making guesses at them doesn't seem to help predict where he'll go next, so I'm curious if there's some logic behind the questions I have yet to grasp.
Well, questions lead to understanding. Or they lead to other questions that lead to understanding.
I guess we just want to confirm if it was him or not.
Yeah. The commune has fairly soundly taken care of that, but we don't know if he was in. We don't know if he was in, cahoots with them from the start, but without further communing or contacting other planes, I don't see how we'd come across this information.
Or getting a hold of him himself.
That as well.
Well, we know now that he's not alone. He's traveling with his army.
So it's not just him then.
Was it a single ship, or did you see a few of them?
That's Tristan. I saw the one, right?
The one.
Yeah. Only the one.
And how large did it appear?
I mean, it was like a large merchant ship, or you're not as familiar with these kinds of boats, but from where the sensor was, it looked pretty big, like it could hold either, 100 or so people or a bunch of goods.
Yeah, I'll commit that version. Also, Leah is somewhat versed on boats, by the way. She grew up in the harbor city and spent a lot of time by the harbor.
Mm-hmm. And so it seems like, those were almost exclusively merchant vessels, so it seems like it seemed like a pretty large merchant vessel. But remember, the sensor's location is stuck to the person you're looking at, so you couldn't go and see the whole boat. You just had like this fisheye look at the rest of the boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Perhaps they hired someone to take part of them, whatever was left after the purple worm attack. Or they could have perhaps taken over a boat and sailed it themselves. They are from troops from an island nation. I expect they're well versed in how to sail. Any comment on that, Raiken?
I mean, it could be either one. They certainly are capable of seafaring, but that's not to say that they weren't able to convince a merchant who was going in that direction to let them join.
Might just be hitching a hike with a merchant already going that direction.
Could be.
Because
He's
it kinda
certainly not
depends
been.
on-
After you.
Sorry, I'm just saying it kind of depends on, I guess, how quickly he wants to get to where he wants to go.
My guess would be that he's been moving somewhat subtly so far, and since we've yet to let on that we know about his involvement, I don't think that tactic will change just yet. Because the longer he keeps a lower profile, the less chance people have of stopping him.
And considering they didn't have a boat, they would have had to either purchase it or steal it.
Or bargain, as it was also proposed.
Well, whatever.
But I just don't see a merchant bargaining to give away their ship for very little.
I
I'm
mean,
not sure what he
No,
had.
not giving away the ship, riding on the ship with them, perhaps as extra deckhands or protection if they are
I
soldiers.
was more along the lines of meaning if he wanted to sail it himself and his crew.
I see.
And not have to deal with other people.
Based on his involvement at Yukikaze's camp, I don't think avoiding people is on his list of priorities.
Whether or not he's doing this on purpose, or if he's actually heading towards the... Well, we know he's heading towards the scale, or at least where he thinks the scale is. But
that might not necessarily. I suppose technically there could be a flaw in the question that we asked as worded, in that he is heading in the direction of it, which does not mean he is heading to it. I find that unlikely, but given the other questions that we've asked, but it is entirely possible.
I see. Well, whether or not he's trying to do the evil or not, something seems to keeping him from sleeping. If it's a worry or some sort of restlessness, like one of his men told him that he should get some sleep, and he denied it. It doesn't seem like he's capable of resting.
Perhaps he's just restless from getting close to the end of this campaign, as you may call it.
Or maybe he's having second thoughts.
I suppose it's possible, but even if he is, it's almost too late to back out now.
Well, I don't want to speculate anymore on this. For now, our priority needs to be the sword.
Indeed. Best to focus on the here and now. So, you all know Roen better than I, as we can expect to encounter him either en route to the city, or at the city itself, or perhaps in possession of the sword leaving the city, in, efforts to transport it. I expect we'll be fighting him one way or the other. What do you know of his abilities that we may be properly prepared? As I did not see much the last time we encountered him. It was mostly him directing orders, not much else.
I can't remember how long Jebel knew him.
You knew him from the time that you joined the group, which was at Raiken, right after they had faced down the Beholder. So, kind of the first thing you saw him do was go in to try and make sure that one of their missions got completed, delivering this raven, and he got captured and strung up by the townsfolk for being a drow.
And there was also combat in helping to fight the, the Hydra was before that, so... I know he left at the capital of Shirakawa.
Getting to Shirakawa was...
What was that?
I said getting to Shirakawa, getting to the capital, was relatively uneventful as I remember it. You had to take a bunch of boats down segments of river and then transit over land to the next boat. Huh?
Is that where we were attacked by the rock? Or no, that was
after leaving Daikos
Yeah,
Althus.
that was after leaving Daikos Althus. So
That was
before that,
first.
the only major thing that happened was the forest elementals, the wood elementals.
Yeah, I think we ran into the Tam barbarians.
Before
in between.
Braithen.
That was before Braithen?
Yep. It was barbarians, then hydras, then Beholder.
The barbarians were a Tam's clan.
Yeah, who made the joke that they were clan no Tam?
Because Tam left.
No, that was me. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. God, I forgot about them.
Yeah, but you still had Bruenor at that time.
Right.
The tree, the two of the trees weren't.
They were
Was
after the
Devil
Beholder.
Were they?
Yeah.
Devil was before the trees.
Okay.
They were.
Just-
Jebel is the reason the trees didn't attack us.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But the water elemental, whatever, was there. She was she attacked later.
Yes, the river spirit.
Yeah.
The
They
trees
were
were the
really
ones
mad
that
at-
were Laramenda's friend.
Yes.
Or were there other trees?
No. No other trees, just those two. Barial and Asperal.
Yeah, they gave me that pendant.
Right. That's where you get that.
And wasn't it the river lady that really had a thing for Leah?
Go. No.
You know, I don't remember. I remember that the river spirit didn't trust you guys, and she was trying to tell the trees not to trust you either.
I know we encountered someone that was knowing what Leah was associated with.
But you didn't
Not
end up
really.
dealing with the river spirit until you were on the boat that the rock attacked, because then she sicked 2 hydras on the boat.
Yeah.
Ancient history.
Yeah. That was what, 2 weeks ago in game?
No, it was way more than that.
Yeah, but it isn't that long.
It's not as long as it feels out of game, because out of game it takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
1 day lasting 10 sessions, it takes a lot longer.
It's a month.
The
Exactly a month. We fought the Hydra on May 1st, and it's now June 1st. Or May 31st, we're still a little unsure about that.
Happy Luniversary.
the odd thing that we fought there, that went on for like 3 or 4 sessions, but it was like maybe a minute.
Yeah, I mean, the blob monster was 3 sessions, and that was only a minute 15 seconds about.
So back to the question at hand.
Well, Jebo just shrugging. It's like, well, I don't know, I barely know him better than you do. And you don't know him at all. So, that's not right.
Roen was a shadow dancer, wasn't he?
What?
He kind of used the shadows to get to places. I remember seeing in combat.
Hey, you know those mean drow with the special swords? I think he was like them.
I see.
Walk through shadows and shit.
Did he have a mean sword?
Eventually. So now, yes.
Oh.
He took the necromancer's sword that was like a super special demonic necromancer sword.
Fun.
I think it was vampiric.
Right, vampiric.
Even had a name.
That
Yes.
I cannot remember.
I remember.
I mean,
Derek
it also
remembers.
went down a lot. I remember having to heal him.
Okay.
Jebo will turn to Leah and just say, have you tried scrying on it?
Scrying on what?
On Roen.
Oh, Roen. I think I tried, or did I? I'm unsure. It's a bit harder to scry on because he's more strong-willed.
You haven't tried scrying on him so far, or at least you haven't succeeded at it if you have tried.
I know I haven't succeeded, but I can't remember if I tried or not.
She has tried once.
Yeah, I think you tried and failed once.
Yeah. I do not have a sample from him, so there is a high likelihood of failing. Also, I heard cat.
What's your sample of Raiken?
He's got a missing finger.
I have sample from several Dragonborn, but I'm not entirely sure what exactly they are. Kind of like briefs or that. It could be like a fingernail clipping or
a scale or something.
yeah, a piece of a scale.
You rip out one of his teeth.
She doesn't even need a piece of me. I'm right here.
But just in case.
I have a collection from all of you.
Yeah. Like she has a piece of all of us. I'm just wondering what piece she already gathered from you.
Probably. It was a piece of my scale. I'm pretty sure I remember that.
Yeah, I think it was.
If memory serves, an image helps with scrying on someone.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just running through
Not
some
as
stuff here.
creepy as
Ash
having
Ash-
pieces of somebody.
communicates with Roen and he appears, would that count as an image of him?
Yes, in this case it would. Time to wake up.
Turns
Well,
out this
dream.
whole campaign was a dream.
Raiken's dream.
You all wake up. It's Kunenliker.
A greased pig.
It's like
There's
that
a foot
from
race
day one.
today and a greased pig
Yeah.
chase.
Oh, I'm excited for this. I got super drunk last night.
There's this elf trying to encourage you to go fight orcs.
But yeah, anyway, if I have a likeness of him or something he owned or a piece of him, those are the things that help scrying.
I feel like using Ash to open up a channel of communication with Roen defeats some of the subtlety
Of
of
scrying.
crying.
What a minor image do? Minor illusion? That's the thing.
If it looks like him, yeah. I only
Uh,
need something that looks like him.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, I mean, I could do that.
Even I can do that. I saw him at the fortress.
In the dark.
Fair enough. Yeah, I didn't have dark vision yet, so I'll leave that to somebody with dark vision.
Because it does
Probably
say,
somebody who saw him more frequently than just passing.
yeah, because it does say likeness or picture, which means that, you know, if it's a painting or a mirror or an illusion or something like that, just that it looks like them. It's the lowest of the modifiers though, so it doesn't do much, but
Mm-hmm. I stole this family portrait of them.
Family portrait. That's funny.
It is. He had a family. It was the guild.
all I want to have a picture of is Polina.
Actually, I think it's a picture of her husband.
Shit, dude, right.
I think I remember that.
It's got a nice note on the back.
So it's a picture
Yeah.
of Raiken? I'm confused.
Yeah. Well, that means that I technically can't scroll him. But why would I?
Dark.
But technically, I can scry another one, but it's very hard if I don't have anything.
So
All I need-
are you going to scry on somebody right now?
I mean, I didn't plan to, but if you guys want me to try Roen, I can try, but it's not, I don't see why we would bother that right now.
Knowing if he appears to be in the city now versus in the tunnels might be useful.
And not to mention, we gotta kill time anyways before Cyrus's dad gets here, so.
Okay.
Cyrus's dad's taking forever.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I
You're
just
planning
haven't
one
skipped
today, right?
ahead to it because you guys are still talking about
Well,
it.
no, this is just Raiken because he
But-
wants to leave.
But why skip ahead if we still have the time and stuff to do, Tristan? We don't want to skip.
You guys can literally
It's
wait
it's
every
possible.
actual hour until this happens, because
Yes.
that's a bit much, guys.
But they're going to be so successful at it.
All the success.
I just.
not-
Now that you've challenged us.
None of you guys have any daggers or anything, right?
I don't use daggers, so I wouldn't keep any of his daggers.
We shouldn't have sold all
Oh.
this junk.
I have a dagger that's identical to a dagger he has.
Doesn't help. If it was something he owned, it would help. But
Or we
It's
found
sold.
elven daggers together and we both took one.
No one kept any of his stuff. No one hardly remembers what he did. It's great friends.
Yeah, Raiken did.
You see,
Wait.
these assholes stole the fucking hammer that Brunar made.
Wait. Who loaned me the short sword I have?
Uh,
Oh.
gave it?
Huh.
I still have the short sword that.
Are you talking about the +1?
Yeah, they gave me.
That was originally Raiken's, and then he gave it to him.
Well, it's
I mean,
still,
he still used it.
it's still in his possession.
Raiken gave it to Roen. Did Raiken give it to Roen?
I don't think there was anybody in between.
So but we're saying if Raiken gave it to Roen and Roen loaned it to Yukikaze,
Then it was Roen's.
Yeah, well, yes. At one point, Roen was using it. So
No, no. This is where the thing is like. Was it lent to Roen or was it given to Roen?
it was given. Raiken wasn't letting him borrow it.
Okay.
He literally just gave it to him.
did Roen give it to Yukikaze or did Roen loan it to Yukikaze?
I can answer that if we need like an actual answer, but I don't know if the characters know that for certain.
Let's go with what these characters remember.
I actually don't know at what point something stops being someone's possession based
That's
on
the other
this.
question. But that one isn't. It might not be important based on the answer to this question. I'm looking very carefully at Yukikaze.
Because, like, when I steal
we have the
something, it becomes mine immediately. Was there?
I think the majority of lawmakers on this plane would disagree.
There is some nuance to that.
No, you're wrong, sir. I wanted it more.
Yeah.
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
This is magic, which is not subject to the laws of mortals, and is a very interesting discussion that we can get into when we have time.
After the whole dragon thing.
I mean, there might be time in transit that we can have an interesting discussion about ownership as it relates to magic and really the soul of an object. If objects can be said to have souls, which there's some interesting writings on.
Long story short, if you do scry on Roen, you can use the sword and it'll either help or it won't help, but it won't hurt.
We can learn if it will help, though.
Then we'll understand the philosophy of ownership.
I wouldn't
No.
really know if it work or not, I think.
What?
Like, I don't think I would know if the possession actually work and making it harder.
Won't be sure. You'll only know if it succeeded or failed.
Yeah. Also, another important... Does anyone of you remember if Roen could see invisible things?
I stare pointedly at Laramendis because he seems to remember all.
I mean, can I make a history check? Sam does not remember that being told to Laramendis as a power that Roen had, and I don't remember remarking on something like that, but...
It sounds like he was in the party within a month, so... Within the last month, so why don't you roll history?
That is a shitty roll.
Let me guess, 23?
No, it's a 21.
That
To the best of your knowledge, he did not have the ability to innately see invisible things.
I don't remember him having that ability when we traveled together.
Okay.
Naturally, if he possesses some newer magical item or some effect of where he is, or someone near him. It's entirely possible that now he might be able to, or it might be something that he has learned in the intervening time. But when we parted ways, I don't remember him being able to.
Okay, let's hope he can't. Can I hold the sword, please?
Hold on, let me get it. Because I will get it, pick it up, hand it to Leah.
Okay. So I assume I know Roen well. Like it's
I
familiar.
mean, at this point, do you?
I leave that up to the DM.
Just tell me what things you think you get and what the modifiers are.
Okay. I hold the sword, which will give a modifier of -4 if it works. And if I know him familiar, it's a -5. If I only know him first hand, it's 0. First hand is you have met them. Familiar is you know the target well. So there's no in between.
Okay. And the DC is 20, and those are all the modifiers you've got?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the other modifiers stack. Like there's 2 lists, and I believe there is 1 from each list.
Okay.
It doesn't specify, but that's what it looks like.
Alright. Roll a wisdom saving throw at DC 20.
This is where I find out he has legendary resistances now.
It's where we find out that he is just in a Mordenkainen's private sanctum.
Yeah. It has to be in the same plane, that's all the thing. And if he can see invisible objects, he will see that he's being spied on, but he won't see by who.
You begin incanting over the mirror once again, and just as before, you see the fog of uncertainty fill the glass pane. And as you continue to say the words and make the gestures, you see the fog beginning to thin in places, and you get the impression of a dark, craggy land. You feel like slowly you're gaining sight into one of the deep tunnels of the Underdark. After several minutes of incanting, you begin to make out figures, all of whom appear to be drow. One of whom appears to be Roen. He is gesturing with a jagged-looking dagger, and different drow soldiers, mostly, are saluting him and moving where he's pointing. You can hear him saying, "Those assholes are coming for the sword. We have to be ready for them. I need defenses increased here, and I want triple patrols between these hours."
Well, that's of convenient information. As
We
he
cannot
says,
fail Lolth like the fools at Umberlight did.
as soon as I heard that, I will immediately say that to Larmendus, like, give him like the times and all of the things I heard him say, and be like, Larmendus, write this down. So it might be very useful.
You're going to have to describe it to him, because I believe you're the only one who can see and hear what's coming from the mirror.
Yeah, and I said I describe. As soon as I hear what Roen says, I immediately say it back out loud.
Okay.
Okay, I record it.
indicates that he believes that your attack will come soon and they don't have time to arrange transit of the item before you arrive, so they have to be prepared to engage you.
But the tunnel just looks like another dark tunnel. Like, I can't tell any specifics.
What are the reactions from the other she's ordering? This question's obviously to Leah.
They seem to be following. Like, it looks like he's commanding people a little bit. Tristan?
Yes,
Yeah, you went very quiet.
I'm here.
I asked if I see anything in the tunnel that makes it look different than other tunnels, or if it's just another dark tunnel.
No, it does seem to be a cavern, and you are aware of what appears to be the wall of a fortress city.
Okay.
It does appear to be operating outside of the city at the moment.
Okay. That's all the information I get during those 10 minutes. The water said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then when the spell ends, we'll look back at them, the others, and be like, well, turns out that was more useful than I expected. We know he's by... Like, I saw that he was by the city. He has the sword. I didn't see it, but he talked of it. They're just putting up defenses against us. They know we're coming. So if you noted those times, Laramandas, we know what time certain guards are positioned where.
And it's valuable information.
Yeah.
Indeed. He didn't seem to be aware of this crime, as I just want to make sure it's information we can trust.
It didn't look like it. Though Roen is very sneaky. If he did know, he could have very well pretended not to.
Very well. Then we may wish to try and verify the information we found once we get there. Does anyone else have any ideas for prep work or reconnaissance that we might be able to do while we wait?
Well, I only have one spell left, so don't look at me.
I look at Leah.
I would like to go about and see if I could find the foci required for Mordenkainen's magnificent mansion. As between that and Stone Shape, I believe we would be able to have a much higher chance of safety in our travels. Although casting Stone Shape enough and casting the Magnificent Mansion would deplete my resources quite a bit.
That actually
safe nights would be, or safe travel would probably be good.
Indeed, but don't forget we'll have our escort. They'll likely will show us safer places to rest.
I would not be against extra safety
Yes.
alongside what they're doing.
I was just reminding you.
And
How
they would
much-
be welcome to join us in the magnificent mansion.
How much time do we have left, approximately, Cyrus?
What time is it, Larmindus?
I'd say the time.
It would.
I mean, I came in at 3. It's probably like 4:30, maybe. Is
5.
my guess
I
5.
was gonna say it was like more like 5 or 6. We've been talking here for quite a while just today.
Yeah. Gotta be. Probably 6.
And when is your dad supposed to show up?
He said by evening, so I'd say he's likely to arrive soon, within the next hour
Okay.
or so.
Okay, that gives me a little time. I'd like to do just a little bit though, shopping if I can find what I'm looking for. But I'll be back here in an hour.
Question. You're going to know how long an hour is how?
Because I'm going to cast Rari's telepathic bond before we split up again, and I will alert everyone before it ends.
Oh, good.
I just pointed at Laramelis.
And that way, if your father shows up sooner than we had expected, we can all know and meet up then.
Very well. If there's no other ideas for prep or reconnaissance, then please cast your spell, because I would like to make my way to the gate.
And I begin casting the spell, unless anyone has anything different to say about it.
Remind me what spell it is?
Rari's telepathic bond?
Oh.
Or did you mean Mordenkainen's magnificent mansion?
Oh no, the telepathic bond.
You're just gonna have a door into the mansion inside this room.
No, I'm not casting that spell
Oh.
here. I don't have the foci for it, so my Laramendus is going to head off now and go and try and see if he can find
Acquire
them,
the foci.
which is not necessarily going to happen since one of
Okay.
them is a small marble carving of a doorway. Like, I think I could find the spoon,
Kind of a spoon?
the silver spoon.
Just a
tiny
silver spoon? Yeah, you could find that. They could give you some marble. And you
I could try a hand at art.
have it
I mean,
carved.
I do. Yeah, it doesn't need to be like a particularly nice carving. So it's possible that they would have the things. It's also possible that I might be missing some of it. So that's what Larmand is going to go and do after casting.
You cast Rari's telepathic bond. Everyone is now connected for the next hour. You go to look for your things. You easily find a spoon that they are willing to part with. And you do happen to find someone who is willing to sell you a piece of marble that's about the right size for you to carve a little doorway in it.
No, I was wrong about the doorway.
No.
The marble is just a small piece of polished marble. The doorway is ivory.
Oh. Well,
So
that's...
you're able to find a piece of marble. It hasn't been polished because it hasn't been shaped yet, so you'll have to get that polished. What's that? And that same person is willing to sell you a piece of ivory. How big does it need to be? Big enough to carve this little doorway
says
into?
a miniature portal carved from ivory, a small piece of polished marble, and a tiny silver spoon, each item worth at least 5 GP. So that's all it says.
Okay, well, they will give you the materials. Someone in this building will give you a spoon for free. They don't seem to mind parting with that to you. You have to go out into the city to find the other two things. You do happen to find the raw materials, and they will sell them to you for a ruby.
I don't know that we had ever specified that any of my money was in gems.
How about a sapphire?
Hmm?
Yeah, sapphire? So let's you for a sapphire.
I don't currently have any gems on me. I do have surface currency, and considering the new relationship between the two areas, it might be beneficial to have some.
The drow you're speaking to looks completely unconvinced of this. And continues to press you for other stones, but as you come up dry on those, he finally just waves his hand and says, fine. Coins. What are these coins?
I will offer him... can I appraise what I think that they would be worth in coins with an in check? I'm going to offer him more than I think that they're worth, but... Or I guess, what would the coin value of whatever gems he was asking me about? Might also be a reasonable thing. I'm gonna make an in check.
The ruby that he was asking you for would probably be something you could find for about 25 GP.
Okay. I will offer him 5 platinum pieces.
Wow.
And explain. I will explain in the city on the surface in Molinar what that would buy you.
He seems impressed by the wealth of things that could be bought with such strange little chips of metal. Says, well, fine, I guess I'll take this. I have to convert it anyway, so I'm keeping all of these.
Yes.
Is that all you need?
Yes, thank you very much.
Sure. He's not hostile, but he's certainly not friendly.
I will then telepath to everyone and say that I have
Raw materials.
part of the way to what I need for the foci for the spell, although some work will need to be done on a piece of ivory.
I might be able to help with that. If you want to bring it by the gate, I have, some free time on my hands while I'm just waiting.
Sure, I will head towards the gate.
Okay. Let me see here.
And how much time do we have?
Time?
Yeah, how much time do we actually have until...
We were told it would probably be 1 to 2 hours. That was a guess.
After an hour...
I've been trying to skip ahead through it, just people keep having things they want to do, which, that's fine.
I was just wondering if I could try, if I had any samples of the mushrooms and stuff from the Underdark, if I could try making some sort of potion just in the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got the tools, you do, right?
Well, I have the herbalism kit.
Okay. We'll say that has the tools. You were given some stuff. I don't know what else you've collected. Wait just a second here. Checking my notes.
You know spells that have a casting time of 1 reaction? Can you just cast them, or are they straight up just you have to use a reaction?
I mean, in combat you have to use a reaction. For the most part, it's like a bonus action. You can't do them unless there's a trigger, in general. Why, are you asking, could you just cast shield?
It's because the staff stores spells, There's like if shield has the casting time of a reaction, can
Yeah.
it be cast into the staff to store?
And I think it could. I don't know. Do you know of any limitations, Sam?
I don't think so.
I know of one.
What's the
If it,
limitation?
if it functions like the Ring of Spell Storing, you can
does.
only remove a spell as an action. So even if you do get Shield in with its casting time of a reaction, you either would have to cast it as an action, or you couldn't get it out because you can't use a reaction to cast it.
Makes sense.
That's while wearing this ring, you can cast any spell stored in it. The spell uses the slot level, spell save DC, spell attack bonus, and spell casting ability of the original caster, but is otherwise treated as if you cast the spell. The spell cast from the ring is no longer stored in it, freeing up space.
Perhaps I was thinking of a different object that stored spells, but I know there's at least something that functions like that.
What's the use object action? Is it an action?
Yep.
Would it not fall into that category, Sam?
Since it says that you cast the spell if the spell is in this, which would read to me that you cast the spell as the spell. It doesn't say anything about like as an action do this, because like a lot of wands it'll be like as an action this happens, and that's the use object action.
Okay. Well then, for now, cast a spell into it. You can cast the spell as it was cast. Until we find a rule that refutes that with certainty.
Now I'm just wondering what I was thinking of. Because apparently it's something different.
You might be able to make the case that for casting a spell that requires, like casting shield into the thing, someone might need to like punch me, and then I cast shield like that. You might be able to make that case. I would think that any spell that, if a wizard learns how to cast a spell, I wouldn't think that every time they're teaching the first years how to cast shield that they deck them every time.
It does seem like a spell that you should just be able to cast. It's not useful as most things other than reaction.
Yeah.
Because counterspell is in there. That's a reaction. And I think shield was in there. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, I think that it's fine.
So, Leah, on the other hand, just goes looking for a potion shop or an accessory shop.
Okay.
Drow tends to like these sort of things, so she thinks maybe she can find something like that in Umbrelite, because she's in the search for some sort of material case that can store a lot of vials and such, a way she can have all of her magical components in one place. So you can store like the summoning equipment there, the mirror there, vials with different hair strands and such in. So that she don't have to have them in the book, she can have them in the case. And in the future also tuning forks. There's bound to be something useful like that somewhere.
Tuning forks. Yeah.
Well, the tuning, she won't necessarily look for tuning forks now because she needs very specific ones, but she's looking for like a case she can have these kind of things in.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. You do find a place, obviously, honestly, it's probably the same place that Laramenda's found. This place seems to be selling, trinkets and knickknacks, and, bits and baubles, you know. Things that appear to either have occurred naturally nearby, like some of the more interesting-looking stone formations, or things that were probably taken from the surface on raids.
Right. Do I have to roll an investigation or something, or?
No. I'm going to see if they have it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good roll. He does have this nice lacquered wood box that, when you open it, has a satin lining on the inside that's purple. It looks like it was made to hold a delicate instrument of some kind. It looks like it's large enough to hold an entire set dinner spread. Like,
Okay.
plus the plate.
Okay, so does it have like pockets or something that I can, or straps or something that I can put files in without it just moving all over the place?
It seems to be, the satin lining seems to be filled with something that causes it to be compressible. So it doesn't have any straps or anything. It's more like whatever you're putting in there is just supposed to be squeezed in by the lining.
I see. Well, that could, yeah, it could serve the right purpose.
It looks like it should be fine for something even pretty thin.
Okay.
Says he will sell it to you for 1 diamond.
Oh, that's right. They use very weird currency down here.
Hey,
It's not
your
that
currency
weird.
is weird. Who wants flattened metal chips? Why aren't you making that into weapons or armor? At least these stones are useful in magic spells.
Armor made out of gold wouldn't be that useful.
Why do you use gold at all? What is it good for?
Trading?
What do the traders use it for?
Trading?
But what do they make it into?
Nothing, we just...
Then what's the point of it? Why does anyone want it if you can't use it for anything, except to give it away again?
Yeah, you store it so you can... So you can...
Store it? But now
Yeah,
it's taking up space, it's more than useless!
There are some spells you can use gold for. You shave gold.
There are like 3.
Yeah.
I mean, he has good points.
I can't deny that.
1 diamond.
Okay. What do you use the diamond for?
Bringing the dead back to life.
That's not ethically right, but okay.
We use diamonds to bring dead people back to life. That's why Yukikaze is alive.
And Cyrus.
You're not there.
And Yukikaze a second time.
Do I have diamonds on me? Good point. Do any of us have diamonds at all?
Maybe Raiken, but
You have a
Those are all
Rary,
those.
so Raiken, you're aware of this.
But Revivify.
That is why we have those diamonds.
Uh-huh.
Is Ash part of the telepathic bond, Sam? Sam? Did he leave? Damn it, he did? Hold on. I think he's coming back. I just heard his door close. Sam, are you back? No?
Sam!
Alright, I'm ruling that he's part of this. Sam can deal with the fallout of that decision later. You're just going to hear Ash over the telepathic bond say in a tone that seems to be mocking Vendar. It says, but residuum.
That's a good point. We don't actually need the diamonds.
I mean, it's not like we have an endless supply of residuum either.
295,000.
We have plenty.
Yes, that could use up a lot of downs of killed people, but that who knows? We might run out, and we need that one extra diamond.
You think we're gonna run out between now and the next time we're gonna be able to get more diamonds?
Have you seen have you seen the last couple times that Yukikaze's gone down recently?
How many times do you think you can resurrect him with how much residual?
And Cyrus.
I think our entire party would have to die dozens of times over.
Fine. I think I have one diamond left.
You think you have one diamond left?
Yes. Forge is in his pockets. He pulls out one diamond. Yes, I have one diamond.
Then I would need to find you, and if I can use that diamond.
For what?
I found someone that sells a box that I can store things in. I'm thinking of more safely store the samples as well as my you know what, it could wait until I get to the surface.
I mean, why do you need to more safely store the samples? Why can't you have them in the bag of holding? You can just call them and they automatically come to you.
Because then I have to call all of the things I need instead of having it all on one simple place. Like if I have a box, I can call the box and then have all.
But you only have to call one thing instead of the box that has a lot of things. If you needed to find Vendar, all you do is go Vendar's item. Boom.
Considering what Vendar stores, I'm pretty sure it would indeed be boom. But fine, I'll wait with it. And if you find something in the surface, besides this thing is probably stolen anyway.
Don't say that out loud, because
No, I didn't.
sorry, I wouldn't be too happy hearing that.
Absolutely didn't. This is all on telepathic bond. Well, thanks, but I think I'm gonna pass for now. I said to him, and then I just gonna find my leave.
It sort of shrugs and says, alright, surfer.
There's no water here to surf in. But yeah, I'll leave and I'll just find my way back.
Okay. Is there anything else anybody pressingly needs to do before
Sam is back.
there?
Yes.
Apparently, Ash is part of the telepathic bond.
Okay.
Because I tried to ask you if he was, and you had just gotten up and left.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no issues against that if the spell works on him.
Several hours later.
What?
I was saying several hours later.
So much later, the old narrator quit, and they had to hire a new one.
I think it's got tired.
Either way. Yes, so, finally, Derek, could you please, roll a d20 plus your int modifier?
Sure. Oh, it's also known as just a d20 unless it's a save. So that's an 8.
Okay.
That's what I got as well.
You don't recognize your father.
You, destroy the piece of ivory.
I cast mending on it.
I mean, it's no longer broken, but are you gonna mend all the little, because he was like whittling it basically.
Yes.
That's gonna take you a while. Okay,
I'm fine with that.
You spend the next while
I say a valiant effort. Perhaps next time.
Come on, one more try. I can do better.
There's not enough of it to try. Hold on.
Well, here, let me help. I'll help mend the thing back together.
Double mend.
Wow.
I was prepared for that.
I am excited for all of the crafting rolls that are going to be happening over the next many sessions now that all of you have things you want to craft now and again.
I had better roll better than a 3 on die next time.
It is likely that you will.
It's true. Probability states that you've only got a 10% chance of rolling lower. Okay.
The image of this Cyrus holding a piece of ivory in one hand and like, is he carving it?
Yeah, I imagine he's just got like a knife and it's basically whittling it like wood.
Immediately just touches the knife to the piece of ivory and he just turns to dust.
Good try, little chat.
And then he takes one large piece of it over to the pilot. He's like, there. Now it's art.
Do I?
Alright, so you spend the next while restoring chip by chip your piece of ivory to its former unrefined state. And as you finish putting the last few chips on that, you are disturbed by activity around you as the gate guards seem to come to life. The patrols around you, which just seem to be sort of walking by, conversing, now and again stopping to chat with each other, help out with whatever project is going on down here in the lower city. I guess I can grab you and you for...
As there starts to be activity, I'd ask my familiar what might be going on, as I had sent them out here earlier, in case they have a better view.
Remind me what your familiar is. Is it an owl?
It's a dove.
It's a dove.
With the stats of an owl.
Right. It is sitting on one of the ramparts of the wall and telepaths to you. Someone approaches. Not
What
a
do they
drow.
look like? Could be my father.
Fine clothing, glittery.
Would this match my memories of my father?
He liked fine clothing and glitters.
He was so sparkly.
Alright. Well, it seems we have company. Let's just hope he remembers the sequences and things that I told him.
Yep.
I don't like the sound of that.
Yup. Everything's fine, don't worry. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 Ugh. Grab the first. Written description. R-E. Better, at least he's got a fucking beard. Alright. Un momento, por favor. Don't do it. Boom. Big size. Oh. Where it lives. Okay. After a few minutes of there being a bit of a clamor about the doorway, drow up on the wall, drow down on the inside, the door does begin to open, and you see soldiers. Boom. Escort a halfling inside. Now, this halfling is right here. He seems to basically resemble Cyrus. They have similar features, shape of the face. He's very clearly a Lightfoot halfling. He has a short beard and mustache that is twisted in places with braids that are covered in gold beads. And as he comes inside and the soldiers begin directly approaching you, you can see that he is wearing expensive-looking clothing that has gold thread throughout, and that his eyes glisten even in the darkness, this amber gold color. And as he walks right up to you, you can see that on the backs of his hands and on the exposed parts of his neck above his collar, there are what appear to be gold dragon scales. The soldiers come up to you and inform you in Undercommon that High Priestess Morwen told us that if such a character appeared, we could take him to her, or you were to be next most important on that list, and we could take her to you instead of bothering her. Do you know this man?
Yes, he's my father.
Very well. They're going to signal, and the gates are going to be closed, and they're going to give a quick salute, which surprises you, before turning and leaving. And the halfling looks around, seeming to see more than you'd expect in the very, very dim light of this city, before cracking his knuckles and smirking, looking over at Cyrus, and saying, "Well, aren't you gonna give your old man a hug?"
Of course. Run over and embrace him.
That's it. You've grown. You're almost as... Whoops. Well, that's fine. Halfling's always switching places.
Spin a bit and then just Larameda's like, what the... Oh.
Your mother tells me you've been doing well.
Yes, I've been doing my best to stay in contact with her. And now with my ability to use sending on occasion, I'll do my best to stay in contact with you as well.
Alright then. Well, I'm impressed to find that you've picked up that spell, but certainly not harmed by it. I wouldn't normally have made the trip here, but I have some important information. Who's your tall friend?
This is Laramundus. He is one of the members of the Order of the Sacred Flame, which has begun calling themselves the Voice of Change.
Yes, I'd heard about the Order. He reaches up a small gold-scaled hand and says, "Doral Thrin."
Laramundus, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Indeed. Good to see you. Where is the rest of the Order?
They are spread out a little bit. Is telepathic bond still going for the moment?
For simplicity, we're gonna say yes.
Okay.
I will then, over the bond, inform them that my father has arrived and that we should meet back at our rooms.
I would already be there, I think, because the conversation with the salesman didn't take long.
Mm-hmm.
So I would
yeah.
probably have found a deck of cards and is trying to lay some sort of solitaire.
I mean, I asked what people were doing, and a couple people told me they were doing stuff, so my assumption is that the people who said nothing just hung and waited the next hour or two for him to show up.
Yep.
So I'm just chilling with a deck of cards.
Thank you, Malachi. Alright, so we're going to...
I'm playing with squeakers.
They take a while to get back to you, because it's a long hike. Raiken's bed. So, out of curiosity, Jebel, where did you do your thing?
I imagine...
Did you... You what?
Huh?
Did you just do it in this room, or did you go to another one?
I
Crows.
stayed in that room.
Okay. So I know Leah stayed here. Raiken, you probably stayed here.
Yeah.
Yukikaze, you said you stayed here. Vendar, you stayed here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're all aware that after Laramundus and Leah took off, Leah, you find out after the fact, since you would have been here when it happened, but Jebel pulled out his herbalism kit and set up his calcinator and started cooking some mushrooms, saying he was going to try to make a potion. And a few minutes later, there was a small explosion and he was covered in fire.
Was the explosion in the shape of a mushroom?
But at the end of the hour, about an hour and a half, so, at this point, telepathic bond is gone, but finally the door opens about half an hour after you heard from them, and two halflings enter the room, followed by Laramundus.
Hello, everyone. I'd like you to meet my father, Doral Thrin. And he'll start pointing to people as he's introducing them. This is Vindar Draknir. This is Raiken Lumos. That is Jebel. I don't actually remember if I know his full name or not.
Did you never tell them your last name, Jebel?
My full name?
I mean, I don't even know all your little middle names, but I know your first and last name.
I remember him telling us his name once, but it was like 30 names long, so I stopped.
Yeah.
So actually, let me rephrase that. I'll say, and that's Jebel. I'll let him introduce himself in full if he feels like it.
What,
Hearing nothing,
now?
I move on. What?
No.
Each person that's introduced, Doral's gonna go and shake their hand.
Leah's gonna curtsy.
And I will shake his hand.
With that,
Jebba will
Handshake.
wipe his hands down because he's probably got gunk on them now. And just pop.
His face is covered in soot.
Room smells of fire and mushrooms.
Doing some cooking, I see. And smell.
that is Leah Lumos, and this is Ihikaze. Insert last name here, which I know what it is, I just can't pronounce it.
Agariboshi.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Aye. You as well. It's good to see so many Dragonborn on a quest such as this. Heartening. The composition of the group is a little different than I expected.
Oh.
Uh,
Is Cyrus technically Dragonborn?
I suppose you could say that, though I would imagine that the Dragonborn would take offense at it. And I wouldn't blame them.
I'm sorry, since Cyrus forgot, this is Lorelei.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see her.
Ah, the sprite, yes. He seems taken aback a little bit, but then moves over and reaches out, like, his index finger for her to grasp. Pleasure. Now then, it is good to meet and greet you all, but I did come here of a purpose. And, do believe that time is not our friend.
Indeed.
Is it ever?
Well, the elves could answer that question better, I think.
I heard to that on this.
I've found time in general to be quite nice for most of my time here.
In
Past
any
3 months has been exciting.
Oh, I have been made aware of all of the goings-on as far as the dragons know. So what I can tell you, and do forgive me if my information is out of date at all, but it seems to me in my sources that we've already failed to prevent the rise of the red, blue, black, and green dragons.
That is our understanding as well. But for the moment, what was the white dragon's name?
Whittemere.
But for the moment, Whittemere still slumbers.
Yes.
Well, the contact other plane didn't tell us that explicitly. We asked
Then
about the other information points to that being the case, though.
Well, in any event, that seems to corroborate at least some of what I've gathered. I had been informed that 2 of the greater gold dragons had fallen. Although it seems more recent information indicates one of them has returned.
Oh, that might be our doing.
I believe it was Seltharis.
Ah, yeah, that is our doing.
Good to know.
It's a little bit scary, but nice in the sheets.
You slept with her?
What?
No, I mean, no. Gross.
You wouldn't sleep with her? What's wrong with her?
Tell you what.
No, she's too young for that.
I'd hit that.
I'm 14.
Stop talking that way in front of her.
He just bares his halfling teeth at you. You can see 3 of which are gold.
She's too young for that talk.
That woman's a blessing on this world.
Yeah, Leah blush very heavily.
I would get that all night long.
Oh my god, look, he's going to rush over and clip his hands down on Leah's ears.
I tried to toss your ears away, but I told you not to do that.
It has been some time since I had attempted to descend to Seltharis, so I'm not sure if she remains safe. But
Last I knew, she was seeing to the other greater gold dragons, making sure they were ready for your move. My job was to see to the other metallic dragons. Because while the gold dragons, myself included, still feel the mantle of responsibility for the children of Tiamat, others have taken to leisure, we'll call it. So I have been to see the greater brass, bronze, and copper dragons, and I have pled my case to them, but they were unmoving. They are aware that while the children of Tiamat live, their lives are at risk, and they don't wish to sacrifice them the way that our forebears did. They're cowards.
Most disappointing. But what of Silver?
Silver Dragon.
I give Raiken a look as he talks about sacrificing himself.
What? I'm not a dragon.
Yeah.
I'm not a coward like that.
Seemed like you would want a word with him.
Maybe. When other things aren't pressing.
The Silver Dragons are attempting to rally what small civilizations they can safely interact with. They're doing their job.
Well, that's good to hear.
It means you should have some allies when you make your move. Once I am done here, I'm going to be returning to the other dragons to try and convince them the importance of this task. So, please, tell me something good. Have you collected the gifts of Bahamut?
We currently have 2 out of 3 and know the location of the 3rd and are planning to go after it either tonight or in the morning.
That's excellent. Is it far?
We also
It is, what do we say, like a couple days?
Like 2 days hiking through the Underdark with a guide.
About 2 days to the Underdark in the city of Onyx.
you know their defenses though. At least their plan of defense.
You mean you're already aware that they know you're coming?
Yes.
I suppose, from one perspective, that could be seen as a good thing. To
We
know you're
just-
expected.
Yeah, we just spite them it's crying.
Well, that's powerful. I hadn't he looks like genuinely impressed. Hadn't expected to hear about that. You got friends in the city of Onyx?
Ex-friend. He's working for the wrong side now.
See this Smile wiped directly off of his face and onto the floor. I see. That would be the order member who is unaccounted for.
Yeah.
Very well. There isn't much I can do in this form, and down here I cannot fly as a dragon, so it's not like I could take you where you need to go. I know of the city of Onyx, but to get there directly, up and over, not recommended.
Do you know any secret passages or something?
No more thoroughly than the drow would. I do not spend much time down here, if I can avoid it, which I generally can.
We've also been made aware that there is a dragonborn that has been assisting in the unearthing of the chromatic dragons.
That does not surprise me. Many dragonborn are sworn to Tiamat.
This one we thought was sworn to Bahamut.
This makes him look up. And why did you think that?
He's Raiken's brother.
And from the seat of Bahamut.
You can feel the halfling's golden eyes boring at you, Raiken.
Yeah, Leah's twiddling her thumbs.
What? What are you looking at me for?
That must be a painful loss.
I don't fully believe he's turned. And I won't believe until I hear it from his own mouth.
Be careful with the trust in how you give it, boy. If he has betrayed it, he will twist that knife, and you will find yourself in a bad situation.
He twists that knife, he gets his head chopped off.
Just don't walk yourself into a trap because you want to believe it's not true.
No trap can hold me.
We have some information on him. We are also Leah here was also able to scry on him with that displaying him being on a boat, possibly traveling south from Tuka.
No, he thinks he knows where it is.
Yes.
Good luck to him getting it. In any event, you're going to need it.
Do you know where it is?
I know that you're going to need 2 Dragonborn to get it.
Why 2?
Because it requires Dragon's Breath in 2 locations simultaneously.
I
There
see.
are more than one Dragonborn on the
He
boat.
has a battalion.
Then you'd better hope he doesn't know where it is.
As I've already misspoken on some of the answers we received from communion and contact of the plane, perhaps Laramindus would be better to go over those details.
When I had asked if he knew the general vicinity of the gem, the answer I received was perhaps. So that leads me to believe that he thinks that he might know, but I'm not sure of his certainty. He is heading in the direction of it, though.
So,
He seems to grow pensive, and he twists his head, looking around the room as he seems to be turning thoughts over, scowling. Finally, his eyes fall on Yukikaze. You said your name was Yukikaze.
Yes.
You that Nagai Boshi that's been doing the trials of Bahamut?
Yes, sir.
How close are you?
I believe from retrieving the sword, the last gift of Bahamut. To what Lord Bahamut spoke should be the last trial.
Then you will have a way of finding the item.
Yes. It will pretty much tell me right where it is.
I do have pressing matters, but if you're only 2 days from that information, then perhaps I should stay. What do you think, boy? An adventure together for all time's sake?
I would certainly appreciate the help. Not to mention the companionship. It's been a while since we've talked.
Yeah, well, your life gets busy when you're a dragon. Glad to see you haven't exploded in the time I've been gone.
I do my best to keep busy.
You was
I
a
have-
frog once.
He did die once.
Did you really have to bring that up?
It's your finest hour, of course.
It is kind of funny.
I'm like pinching
Tell him
the bridge
how
right
you
now.
came back to life.
Shaking. Look, I'm not going to lie. It's been rough at a few points. We have run in with Shisharin.
I'd heard. Went poorly. She got away.
She did, but not as many lives were lost as were likely to have been.
That's a good takeaway. So you protected the people of that city?
We did what we could. We, through the use of some magics, were able to bluff that we had the full set of Bahamut's artifacts. And having her only been recently awakened, we expect her not to have the full facts.
That was a clever strategy. She would not have. And I'm certain she'd have remembered the last champion that brandished those items against her and been afraid.
She seemed afraid until her sibling came along.
Indeed. They've gone northeast. Vanandir. A meeting with Karasoth. There they will likely wait for Widemir to arrive. Then they will begin their ritual to bring Tiamat here.
They're bringing her here as well.
I knew it.
This only gets worse. Father, do you, by chance, have any sort of object that might link to the place where either Wiedemir's body is or where the item may be?
I know the general area of the body. The scales were kept secret from everyone, orders of the last champion. Dragons respected that. It's a good plan. and it worked for 1,000 years. Which means only recently did someone figure out something they shouldn't have.
Indeed. Well, I have recently gained the ability to cast teleportation. So, crossing a great distance, if we have a way to link us to the location we wish to travel, may be rather quick.
Well, the only place I know of that I could go and fetch something from would be where Widowmere lies. But if you have the scale, I can't imagine you would want to bring it there.
Indeed. We don't have it yet.
No, I know, but I mean, the only reason to go there would be if you had it, but since you are not seeking to raise him, I can't imagine you'd want to go.
Yes, it's just...
But once your friend Yukikaze finishes his trials, he will be able to know the location of the scales.
Yes. So, what do you know of their ritual to bring Tiamat to this plane? Will it require all 5 of them, or could they possibly get by with just the 4?
They'll require all 5 of them.
Do we need to get that scale at any cost?
Cannot allow Widowmere to awaken. If he were to do so, then you would have to stop them amid their ritual, when they are at the peak of their power gathered in one place. That is a fool's errand.
Indeed. I have a terrible idea that just might work.
You know, I've heard a lot of other sorcerers say that, usually right before they explode.
Perhaps we can workshop this idea so it's no longer terrible and will
Yes, that's... well, as the members of the city only recently were revealed to the rest of the Drow to be followers of Loth, they may have an object or item that could link to the city of Onyx that might allow us to enter abruptly and pass their defenses by use of teleportation.
And why do you think such a thing would be here?
Well, if they've worked together to some degree in the past to capture the items of Bahamut in the first place.
Sure.
So they may have something else. But
Here's the way I view that, and far be it from me to say that they're not dumb enough to have done something like that. But if their purpose in splitting up the gifts of Bahamut between the two cities was that they could not be easily gathered, and their entire matriarchy is based on divine casters of high level, don't you think they'd be aware that such spells could be used and have taken steps to prevent it?
that's fair. Tristan, what do I need to roll to be aware of the spell Forbiddance?
I don't know, let me look it up.
Usually the answer to that is Arcana.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's I've only seen it in the cleric spell list, so I don't know if it's actually an arcane spell.
I think technically even Divine Magic is usually an Arcana check. It is just a cleric spell, though.
See that.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, right?
Just big private sanctum. For certain aspects of the private sanctum.
For certain aspects, yes.
Well, I got a 15. Just tell me what modifier to apply.
Religion.
Religion. Alright, so that's probably a 0. Yeah, that's a 0, so 15.
Go with
Okay.
Clerics. That one's very fascinating, though. Very powerful.
Alright, so then I will abandon that line of thinking. You're right, they could have some form of defense for it. Do you know on anything particular it might be?
They would make sure that items were not left here that could be used as keys.
Fair enough.
At least that's what I would do. If they had some way of stopping teleportation, I'd use that too, like a private sanctum.
Which means using it as an exit strategy is also iffy.
If we are aware of a private sanctum or some other spell preventing teleportation, we can dispel it. As an exit strategy, I mean.
Yes, because you'd have to get there first.
True.
Come on, is 2 days so long to spend with your old man?
It's not the fact of spending time with you, it's just I don't want to give them more time to prepare.
In that case, while we continue discussions about things, should we speak with the High Priestess and get our guides set so that we can leave as soon as possible?
We could. That does seem like a good plan.
I don't need much rest. I'm ready to go if you are.
Well, I've yet to have spent any spells, so I could leave tonight.
Tristan, have I rested long enough to get a short rest since I cast those scrying spells?
Yeah, this chat has been a good long one.
Yeah, and there was the hour of the telepathic bond where you had just gone over to talk to the guy and then came back and all that.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn to Cyrus's father and say, how good are you at carving?
Oh, come on! I can do it!
Honestly, art's not my strong suit. I tend to appreciate it well enough. But, his mother always was the better crafter.
Too bad that skill didn't transfer.
It just takes practice.
If only I had Mage Hand, I could slap you across the room.
I have Mage Hand.
So are we prepared to go and begin collecting our companions?
We could, but if we have any more strategy to discuss, I would like to make sure we do it in this city, where we're less likely to be overheard by Loth's minions.
perhaps the guides that we have might be able to contribute something to the conversation as well, knowing the Underdark better.
Indeed. I'm not objecting to having them here. I just want to make sure we're not planning to have more of this conversation like on the road or something.
That's what your telepathic bond is for.
There are now too many of us. Or there will be with our companions.
Pity.
To leave someone out.
How many can't target in home?
We'll designate one of the drow to be the leader.
I believe it is 8. Hold
I
on.
mean, we don't need Ash and Lorelei to be part of it.
Yeah, but
but
even
there's-
without them included, that's everyone in this room.
I think we only have one more spot, including all the people in this room.
No, we're out.
If you were to
There
include
are 8 of us.
Doral, you would be at 8, which is your maximum. You can do, at any given time, you can do the whole party plus 1.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Alright, well...
If your carving improves, then we'll have a safe place to talk.
If there isn't room for me, then I guess I'll just wait here.
I mean, I feel that there's room for you. As long as we just make sure we take care of the discussion here.
I would be most interested in being able to speak with you as we travel.
I mean, second most, maybe.
I did not mean that as I would be the most interested out of the people here.
Now, boys, there's plenty of Doral to go around. He gives you a glittering grin.
You know, I can see the resemblance.
What, to my son?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, he takes after his mother. To the scales, those are definitely me. And the exploding. No, maybe that's his mother too, actually.
I try to hide a chuckle.
Look, I'm a guest here. You guys gotta decide what you're doing. Quick.
Well, bare minimum, let's go see about getting the guides and find out if they have any input, and perhaps move to a slightly larger room, as this one's getting crowded.
Look, there's plenty of space in here. 20 square feet. Just move everybody to the outside. Look at that. Unzaru.
If we're thinking about effectiveness for utilizing telepathic bond and also keeping Cyrus's father in the loop, I could stay out of the bond, but then just stick closely with someone.
And it's not like the scouts will, like the guides will be, endeavoring to enter at least I don't think they'll be, attempting to enter the city of Onyx with us. So once we got there, it would be just us.
So I'm fine without being inside the bond, and I'll stick with someone and help support them if there is any combat. That way, if anything needs to be conveyed to me, it can be conveyed through them. That's just an idea.
That seems like it could be reasonable.
Alright, well, let's go get the guides then.
Well, it's gonna do that.
I'll ask Durrell to accompany us, as I believe Morwen wished to make his acquaintance.
Alright, then I'm just gonna grab everybody.
That's fair.
Whoosh.
So, you know where the office that Morwen hangs out in is. And as usual, she and Alanthe seem to be going over we can just say their decisions, not edicts or decrees, but some decisions for the city. When the soldiers show you into the room, they look up and say, "Ah, yes, the adventurers, heroes of Umberlight. How can we help you now? Are you prepared to leave?"
We are making final preparations. My father here, I will gesture, Durrell Thrin, has arrived and without brought some new information, and we wished to talk with our guides in hopes of coming to the best course of action.
They introduce themselves to Doral. Some pleasantries are exchanged before he takes a step back and says, "Well, I gotta admit, I never thought I'd see the day that you made friends with the Drow. I didn't even know that this, what's her name again?
Illustray.
Illustray existed. Fascinating. Well, I don't have much foresight into the future, but I think that things are looking up in any event." He says his piece. The Drow don't seem too put out by it, by its candidness. And they call in for a couple of guards. I always do. Never in the right bin. Boo, boo, boo. And after a minute, two Drow soldiers appear and introduce themselves as Irin and Thala.
Alright. If it appears that any translations from Undercommon need to be occurring for Durrell's benefit, then I'll do my best to keep him informed.
I'll check. Yeah, he does seem to be addressing them in common. And they work with him for that. But the soldiers come in, they introduce themselves as Irin and Thala, and tell you that they have been given orders to guide you on the safest, shortest path between here and the city of Onyx.
And let's waste no time. Nice meeting you.
They nod. Irin, you recognize as the same Drow who helped you in find the bath and who was talking with you at dinner, Leah.
Oh yeah. And you again, let's say to him, give him a nod.
He smiles slightly and nods. Says, It will be about 2 days walk at a good pace to get there, so make sure you're prepared for that with overnight and provisions.
That should do.
When you're prepared to go, meet us at the front gate. He pauses and then says, I assume we've been summoned because you wish to leave now.
Yeah. We shouldn't waste more time here.
More or less. There are a few details we wish to go over to make sure we are taking the best course of action.
What do you need to know?
So, you said it would be 2 days at a good pace. Would there be any decent resting spots or anything like that along the way that we might be able to use?
We know the caves well enough to know where we could rest, yes.
Alright. Do you know what type of dangers we might be able to expect between here and there?
Displacer beasts. Usually the drow aren't in danger from any of Lolth's minions like the Ettercaps or the spiders, but it is possible that now, with Umberlight's declaration, we would run afoul of those. In fact, likely. This is also the shortest route, which means that it is accepting extra danger. So these are paths that we're aware drow have disappeared upon. But we believe that with a group as large as ours, we won't run into those problems.
I see.
So, paths we know they've disappeared on, so paths that probably have illithids on them?
We don't wish to conjecture, since we don't have the facts, but it is probable.
Ooh, that's gonna be fun.
Sadly, there is not a more direct route. So we accept the risk to save the time.
Alright. And I'm not sure if you two would be particular with this, but expect, if anyone here is, more would know the answer to this question. What's the standard defenses of the city of Onyx?
They have walls much like ours, and a bounty of soldiers. They are also still in Lolth's graces, so they will have spiders. I would expect siege weapons on the walls, especially if they know you're coming, which
they do. Do they have any kind of arcane casters there?
Lolth does not approve of arcane magic. All magical power must derive from her.
I see.
They would very likely be making use solely of priestesses.
Alright. Well then, I'll turn to the University. Do any of you have questions or concerns?
So if there are no more questions, then we can just head on.
Yeah. Let's get going.
I suppose it is time you left.
Got places to be.
World to save.
Well, actually, one last request before we... do you by chance have a spare key to some place in the city that I could have? I don't need to be of any real importance. I just need an object linked to the city so that I could have an easy time returning should we need to come back here after we're done retrieving the artifact.
Orwin speaks up at this time and says, "We cannot give you anything like that. Because if you were to die, then it could be used by our enemies. The cities are currently physically separated because we were part of the plan to hold the gifts of Bahamut apart and untakeable."
I see. Alright, well, that is a valid concern. My only question is, how would they go about it without the use of arcane magic?
It matters not, we cannot take the risk.
Fair enough.
We will
Like I
be
said, I'm
erecting
not-
a forbiddance to prevent them from doing it. But you would be prevented as well.
Understood. Then I guess we shall take our best shot.
We, of course, wish you luck. Go with the grace of Illustri.
This forbiddance you mentioned, is it something they're likely to have as well?
Very.
Is there any chance you could detail what effects it might have, just so that we may be prepared for what we face?
You will not be able to teleport if they have it erected. Into or out of the location.
Based on the way you're talking, I would presume it can cover the whole city?
It can cover a large area, and they have many priestesses.
Well then. Thank you for the heads up.
I would be surprised if they were not using it. If there is nothing further,
I am actually out of questions this time.
Will he be able to hold the city from here and keep in contact with the surface? With Cyrus and all?
with the assistance you have given the city, and the new hope of allegiance with the surface, I do believe we'll be fine. Spend your time worrying about your group. Your task is the greater danger.
I'd like to be sure that those really can handle themselves. I mean, of course they will, but just a little reassurance.
We will be regularly in communication with Zephyrius.
That's good.
I'll make
That will make him happy.
one more comment just as we leave. I'll be removing the statue on our way out, as I would not be able to do so once your forbiddance has been put in place.
She nods. Let's do it quickly. But
Oh.
we've given the order.
One more thing I just remembered. I have like £100 worth of books about Lolth in my bag. Do you guys want it? The ones I collected.
He indicates a corner of the office.
Do you want me to just drop them there?
I am aware of how these bags work. Time is of the essence, please.
Okay. I just go around and just dump them. Like, I don't just put it back upside down because that will be bad. I just call them and they will get there.
You create a big pile of books over the next couple minutes. The drow with you warn you they're going to be leading you at a brisk pace, so let them know if you have trouble keeping up. You get to the front gate of the city. Some words are exchanged between your escort and the guards there, and the doors open once more. The Doral sort of waves at the city as you pass through the gates, and they close behind you, as you re-enter the dark and foreboding caverns of the Underdark. We got 10 minutes left. Anything else I'd still need to draw or introduce this or that, the other thing, so...
I feel like leaving the city is a decent stopping point.
I concur.
Sounds good to me.
Alright. Good stuff, everybody. Take 800.
Sweet.
Nice.
I'll level next time.
So
No.
for Jebel.
I'll mark off a spell slot for teleportation for removing the statue.
Oh, we need to have that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I forgot to do that last week, but we can either do that here in a minute or just during the week this week for sure. Now that I'm gonna be less busy.
Mm-hmm. And when we do that, I'll spend whichever, however many sendings I need to have spent on my part. So we'll figure that out when that happens.
So, before you leave the city, you're going to be spending minutes getting rid of the statue of Corellin.
I think it's just an action. Let me double check the cast time.
Gotta communicate with people, he just said.
Well, yeah, but the plan was to have done that in like the half hour.
Communication was when we were waiting for Raiken to get back. We didn't have that conversation with Evandel.
Okay. Well, then contact me this week. What you need to know. Sounds good. So, suppose that closes out the portion of the chapter that centers on Umbralite.
Dun dun dun.
Bum, 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 bum. And next time, gonna get interesting.
Where you
Look at all
go?
these tiny people.
Next time on Everybody Loves Raiken.
So many tiny people. 3 of them now. Or if you include Lorelei.
Will the group make it to Onyx?
I mean, if we're including
Will
familiars,
Cyrus
that
be
number goes up
embarrassed
to
by
like
Oxford
8.
in front of his dad.
Do the other familiars count as people, though?
I mean, I guess not.
Rude.
Yeah, rude to Lord Squeakers the second.